In this project, we're going to be building a password strength checker. For this project, we're going to be providing a password, and the program is going to determine whether the password is strong, medium, or weak. In essence, we have three categories of passwords here. We'll have the strong passwords, we'll have the medium passwords, then finally we have the weak passwords. Now let's start with the strong passwords. These are passwords that have a combination of alphabets, numbers, and special characters. And for this password to be considered strong, one of the letters or one of the alphabet has to be in uppercase. At least one of the letters or alphabet has to be in lowercase. Then we should have at least a number and a special character. So here we're looking at uppercase letter. We're looking at lowercase letter. We're looking at a number, and we're looking at special characters. At least one special character. Now for medium passwords, we're looking at uppercase letter. We're looking at lowercase letter. Then we're looking at least a number. Then for weak passwords, this can be composed only of letters or numbers. So we're going to start by declaring some variables. Here we're going to have has upper. We're going to be using this variable to determine whether the password has at least one uppercase character. So we're going to be having it as false. We're going to have has lower, and we're going to have it as false. Then we're going to have has digit. Here we're going to have false. Then finally we're going to have has special character. We're going to have this as false. I'm going to be prompting the user to provide a password. So here we can have password is equal to input. Here we're going to have please enter a password. But before I prompt the user for the password, I'm also going to be indicating the special characters. So here we can have special characters. So here I can provide sequence of special characters. I can have a dot, I can have comma, I can have a caret symbol, I can have asterisks, I can have percentage, dollar symbol, I can have underscore, hyphen. I can go on, but I think this can serve. Now I'm going to be iterating through the characters that make up the password. So here I can have for car in password. Here I'm going to have if car dot is upper. If this is true, I'm going to have has upper is equal to true. I'm going to be identifying if we have at least one letter in lower case. So here we're going to have if car dot is lower. If this is true, I'm going to have has lower is equal to true. Then I'm going to identify whether we'll have at least one digit or one number in the password. So here we're going to have if car dot is digit. If this is true, we're going to have has digit is equal to true. Then I'm going to identify whether at least one of the characters in our password matches any of the characters in our special characters string. So here we're going to have if car in special characters. Here I'm going to have has special is equal to true. Now we're going to be performing some analysis on our password. So here we're going to have if has upper and has lower, then has digit and has special. What this means is that if the password has at least one letter in uppercase, one letter in lowercase, at least one digit, at least one special character, this qualifies the password to be a strong password. So here we can have print strong password. Now we're going to have elif. And here we're going to have has upper and has lower and has digit. For this, we're going to have print medium. Then here we can have else. For the else clause, we can have print weak. So let's try this out. Here we're going to have Python strings.py. I can just enter some letters. So something like this and hit enter. You can see we have a weak password. Now let's run the program again. This time around, I'm going to have some letters and some numbers. So can have something like this and some numbers. We'll still have a weak password. Now, let's run the program again. This time around, I'm going to have an uppercase, then I'll have some lower cases, and I'm going to have some numbers. Then I'll hit enter. Now we'll have a medium password. Now let's run the program again. Here I'm going to enter an uppercase, enter some lower cases, then enter numbers and enter a special character, maybe a percentage symbol. If I hit enter, you can see we have a strong password. We can even improve this program in such a way that before a password can even be considered to be a strong, medium, or weak password, it has to be at least 8 characters. To do this, I'm going to have an if statement where we're going to have if len password. Here we're going to have is less than 8. Print too short elif. So if we try to run the program again, if I enter a short password like something like this, it will just indicate it is too short. If I run it again and enter some letters, at least up to 8 characters, if I run the program, we can see weak. Now let's run it again. This time around, we're going to use a capital U, then provide some lower cases, provide some numbers, and provide a special character. If we run this program, we'll have a strong password. So this is how you can quickly analyze the strength of a password.